So I've been trying to come up with a formula, a hypothesis for why so much of society seems completely insane. And so this is a rough idea. It may be inconsistent, odd. It may very well sound as crazy as those I'm trying to critique. So do take it with a grain of salt. So if we look back at the beginning of the 20th century, so post the First World War, the beginning of the Pax Americana age, the Wilsonian worldview, which, let's be honest, is utterly disconnected from the nature of man, the vision of the anointed, as Thomas Sowell puts it. If you were going to set out to attempt to completely subvert human nature through every facet of society, be it media, technology, academia, culture, etc., doing this over several generations, a couple of factors to me here are key, as well as some potential hiccups and problems. Firstly, if you're going to embark on this insane endeavor across multiple generations, you're going to need an organization, and it's going to need a head, and I'd imagine a very tight-knit group of people to carry this out over the course of, potential centuries. It'll be multi-generational, and hence it will have to have some school or university of some kind. This is most important to me. If you're going to do this for the sake of power, which is what these people are doing, let's not kid ourselves, you're going to need some pretty powerful mechanism in place to stop yourself from going completely insane and being absorbed into your own propaganda as it becomes, more and more prominent in everything else around you. And the next generation that you're bringing into this organization and teaching this crap to has to also maintain this dual perception of the conjured reality they're in the middle of trying to bring to fruition versus the actual reality they're attempting to change as well. If this already sounds like a powder keg to blow your sanity into orbit, it very well might be. As this endeavor then becomes more and more prominent across the decades and becomes more and more subversive in nature, keep in mind a new generation is always being born. So the further along this trajectory the endeavor goes, you'll need to bring the new generation up to speed at whatever level or junction you're at in the current point in time. But you're always going to have a few stragglers who see through this but don't have the mass to affect the tide. I imagine a fair few people who are watching this are in that camp, looking at things around you in the media, and you think you're living in this simulation because things around you seem so stupidly nonsensical you're starting to question the very nature of reality. And it looks like, as this becomes more and more extremely disconnected, it's starting to be brought upon a younger and younger generation, and this is where it's starting to hit a snag. Because now you're involving a group of people that still have guardians, parents. Before, it appeared to target an audience closer to the age of adulthood, so it was not so much a concern for the parents. Now, however, it seems to be targeting a demographic closer to infancy than adulthood. So all of those prior decades, the threads of the social order were being pulled out slowly one by one in the name of liberation, but in the shadows, they were being restitched together to form this new twisted world based on nothing but hedonic pleasure and no substance, essentially consumerism on steroids, and that structure is being brought to light. But the pushers of this demented vision runs a big risk by bringing this into the mainstream, because the next generation are always rebellious against the culture which comes before them. Now, in the previous generation, it was always, oh my goodness, look at the youth of today, they're crazy, lack of morals, etc., etc. We all know how our parents and grandparents were. That was their usual outcry. Looking back at it now, they were prophetically correct in their judgment. We actually owe them an apology. Now, interestingly enough, though, in the slow dawned awakening against all of this, we have, as far as I can tell, a new phenomenon. Previous generations were sold a rebellion against the traditional in the name of liberation. The new rebellion, however, is to be found in the reforging of the old order. Now we could potentially see a coalition of millennials, Gen Xers, even some boomers maybe, looking at the younger generation's rebellion not as a destructive force as before, but a constructive boon. That their rejection of this woke crap and bullying it to tears will be greeted with a smile and a high five rather than a scolding, and they'll be cheered on for that. And that's new, because younger people don't like to be told what to do, but they all have people they look up to. And can you imagine a coalition spanning multiple generations telling them, yeah, everything around you is completely retarded, make fun of it as you see fit? And this is going to sound weird, but the archetype for that is Trump. That's going to be fun. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but it has all the ingredients to be a spectacular backlash against the humorless wankers who must ruin everything in the name of sterile, boring equality. So if you happen to see any young'uns on any media platform or whatever raising hell and making fun of everything, give them some petrol and let's spread the damn fire as far as we fucking can. Because the best way to purge this bullshit is to belittle, mock, and ridicule this nonsense. As the old saying goes, laughter is the best medicine, so feel no fear, take no prisoners, and show no fucking mercy. And that is all for today. I will see you all next time. You know, I did want to say purge the rainbow, but that sounds really freaking gay.